They said no one should draw water from the old well after midnight, not because the water was poisoned, nor because the stones had cracked with age, but because the well whispered back. And once you heard your name in the whispers, misery would crawl into your life, one breath at a time. But when desperation outweighs superstition, rules are broken. And that was how everything began to rot. On the edge of Umudara village, far from the market square and deeper than most dared to walk, the well stood. Its stones were blackened, damp even in the heat of dry season. Ivy curled over its rim like thin, strangling fingers. The villagers avoided it, fetching their water instead from the river that snaked around the town. But Mara was desperate. Her youngest child had been burning with fever for 3 days. The herbs didn't work, the priests were silent, and the river was dry from the heat. Only the cursed well held water now. Her neighbors warned her, "If you hear anything, close your ears. Do not look down the water. No matter what voice calls you, do not answer." Mara had nodded, but desperation is stronger than fear. That night, clutching a clay pot to her chest, she went. The crickets hushed as she neared the clearing. The moon lay hidden behind bruised clouds, leaving everything in shades of black and gray. The well loomed ahead, darker than the night itself.
You are not.
She lowered the pot
alone.
with trembling hands. The rope creaked, scraping against stone. And then she heard it. A voice, soft as breath, rising from the depths. Mara. Her blood froze. Her name. She pulled the pot up quickly, her hands slick with sweat, her ears ringing with the whisper. The water sloshed inside, thick and dark like something that hadn't been touched for centuries. She didn't look down. She didn't speak. She ran. But she had already broken the rule. Her child drank. At first, it seemed a miracle. The fever cooled. The child slept. Mara wept, believing the whispers had meant no harm. But by dawn, her child began to convulse. His eyes rolled white, his lips cracked, and when he tried to speak, his voice wasn't his own. "Mother," the boy croaked. But it wasn't the tender cry of a child. It was the heavy, wet voice of the well. Mara screamed. The boy grinned through the seizures, his tiny hand clutching hers so tightly her bones ached. Outside, roosters crowed, the village stirred, but inside Mara's hut, darkness pressed in, thick and suffocating.
What is wrong?
By nightfall, the boy was gone.
Mother.
His body remained, cold and still, but his shadow on the wall twisted and writhed, long after the lamps had died. And the whisper came again. Mara. The village buried the boy quickly, as if afraid his corpse would speak, but they whispered among themselves. She broke the rule. She fetched water at night. The well is awake again. And indeed, things began to change. Goats birthed stillborn kids. The river's fish floated belly up. Children wandered in their sleep, eyes glazed, chanting words that no one understood. And always, in the dead hours of night, the whispers rose. Some said they came from the well. Others swore they came from beneath their own beds. The misery spread like rot beneath skin. One evening, a man named Obiora returned from the market to find his wife sitting by their doorway, rocking herself back and forth, her eyes hollow. "They called my name," she whispered. "They called my name from the shadows." By dawn, she was found hanging from the mango tree outside their hut, her neck twisted like rope. The elders gathered. "We should seal the well," one said. "It is too late," another replied. "Once the whispers taste a name, they never let go." But Mara refused to surrender. She went to the priests, begging for cleansing. They anointed her with palm oil, covered her head with white cloth, and chanted prayers until their throats bled. Still, the whispers followed her. At night they grew louder. Sometimes she heard her child's voice, laughing from the shadows. Sometimes it was her husband's, though he had long abandoned her. Sometimes it was her own voice, speaking words she never remembered saying. "Mara, jump into the well. Join me." She resisted, but her mind began to fracture piece by piece. The smell of damp earth filled her hut. Water dripped from her ceiling, though the skies were clear. And in every pool of water, she swore she saw eyes staring back. One stormy night, lightning split the sky open. Mara couldn't take it anymore. She went back to the well. The rain lashed against her face, soaking her wrapper, clinging to her bones. The well gaped before her, hungry and endless. She leaned over, clutching the slippery stones. "Why me?" she screamed into the depths. The whisper rose, louder than ever before. A chorus of voices, male, female, children, elders, all at once. "Because you answered." The water shimmered in the lightning, not clear but black, filled with writhing figures, pale hands clawing upward, faces twisted in agony. Villagers, people she knew. People who had gone missing years before. And there her child, smiling, reaching up. "Mother, join us." Her scream tore through the storm. By dawn, Mara was gone. But her neighbors found her clay pot, cracked in half by the well, and they swore if you leaned close, you could still hear her voice from the broken shards. "Mara, the well remains. The whispers remain. And even now, they say, if you walk past Umudara on a moonless night, the air will shift. You will hear your name carried on the damp wind. And once you do, misery will find you." One by one, children began disappearing. At first, people thought they had wandered off. But then the villagers noticed strange figures at the edge of the forest at night. Small bodies, pale eyes, moving in jerks and shadows. The missing children had returned. But they were no longer children. They whispered in unison, their voices deep, their eyes hollow. "Join us." The priests gathered, declaring that only blood could bind the well shut again. But whose blood? They chose Mara's bloodline. Since she had awakened it, her family must pay the price. Her husband resisted, but the whispers came for him at night, soft and irresistible. By dawn, his body was found at the well, broken like clay. Her surviving relatives fled the village, leaving Umudara to its doom. The well cracked open, water gushed out, flooding the paths. With it came shadows, thin and endless, crawling like snakes. The shadows entered homes. The sick wailed. The strong turned on each other. Mothers smothered their infants, rather than let them be taken. The whispers were no longer from the well alone, they were in the trees, the rivers, the soil. The whole land was speaking. And all it said was one thing: more. Elder Nwosu, the last to resist, gathered the survivors. With fire, chants, and drums, they surrounded the well. He sacrificed himself, leaping into the abyss, sealing it with his blood. The voices stopped. The well grew still. But silence is not peace. To this day, travelers say if you walk past Umudara on a moonless night, the air shifts. The silence presses on your chest. And if you linger too long, you will hear your name. And once you do, misery will never let you go.